want your lawyer. We're going to tell you to shut up. You're an enemy combatant. You don't get a lawyer. You know, he's not going to come black bag me. He's going to send one of you guys, somebody in the current serving military or police, because Lindsey Graham doesn't have the guts to do it. So don't be his tool. Make him come do it himself. Step aside. When the time comes, and if we are forced to fight for our freedom, all we ask is that you simply step aside, open up a can of beer, have a seat, and watch the show, because the veterans of this country and the patriots of this country will take care of business if that's what we have to do. All you got to do is stand down.
Well, when people are overthrowing the entire Bill of Rights and Constitution, Stuart, you know over the years I've always called for peace in the Infowar. But, I cannot deny the truth of what you're saying, that as things escalate, you have to tell, look, in closing, Americans bought 3 million guns in December, over 1.5 million background checks, on average over 2.1 guns sold per background check. And they had a survey out in USA Today, they said, why are you buying guns? And they said, we don't trust the government, civil unrest, collapse. I mean, shouldn't that be a message to the system? I mean, do they really think, after all the work we've done and the history of America and all of it going back, that this is going to be a cakewalk?
Yeah, I think they do, because they've mistaken our love of peace and our lawfulness. They mistake that for weakness, and every enemy we've ever faced has underestimated us. The British officers thought Americans would not fight. They joked about being able to take, one battalion of grenadiers and gild half the males in America, going up and down the coast. They joked about it until April 19, 1775, when they got the crap shot out of them all the way back to Boston. Then they realized they were in a fight. And in Bunker Hill, they realized that they were in a fight. When you had doctors and old men standing there and fighting to the death, that's when they realized that they were in a fight. But the Nazis underestimated us. Tojo and Imperial Japan underestimated us. They all thought Americans were weak. We always proved them wrong, and we will again. And so one last thing I want to say to the military is our dream would be a mass stand down. You just simply stand down like the East Germans did in 1989. But if, God forbid, if elements of our military do apply force under the laws of war to the American people and do start blackbagging Americans, there's going to be a fight, and then the people in the military have to choose which side they're going to fight on. Just like our militias back then in 1775 had to choose which side. Some were loyalists, some were loyal to the crown.
But folks have also got to be smart, Stuart. They're going to stage false flags and stuff to blame it on us to try to get people all organized. That's why they hate it that we're exposing their false flags, because we take that tool away from them. Stuart, amazing. Thank you so much for your great work. Give us 1 minute on Ron Paul's rise and getting behind Ron Paul.
Well, like I said earlier today, I work for the man in the position we're in right now. There is nobody else who is going to stand up and say, and refuse to use these powers as commander-in-chief. He's the only commander-in-chief who will honor his oath. Obama has already shown that he will desecrate his oath. He doesn't care about it. He's already violated the Constitution grossly. Nobody else who's running for office has the integrity or the track record of standing up and defending the Constitution. And so if you want to preserve this republic, he's your only choice as far as for president.
Isn't it amazing at this key crossroads that Jefferson reincarnated, figuratively, would be standing right there for us to choose him? And, of course, he's old like the Republic as well. I mean, all the archetypes are there. It's like science fiction. I mean, here we are, and this archetype, the elderly but omnibudsman, wise Gandalf, the Jeffersonian spirit is right there waiting for us, never compromising, never wavering. Would we choose him? I mean, it's right there. It's very providential.
Well, it's also a test of us. I mean, it's a sad sight to see that because of the fear of radical Islam, so many conservatives are rejecting Congressman Paul. I mean, I'm speaking as an individual. Oath Keepers do not endorse candidates, but I can't. My conscience insists that I speak out as an individual and say that if you reject him, you will have missed a huge opportunity to solve this in a peaceful way, in a constitutional manner, in a lawful manner, without the American people being forced to fight a revolution. So this is the time to only vote for an oath keeper. If you don't vote for someone who's going to keep their oath, if you vote for an oath breaker, that makes you an oath breaker. So that's how I see it. I
agree, and I would just close with, he wins by running, though. Look, this has got to be a nightmare for the globalist. All these issues in the Fed, all of it, and an illustration of how many Americans do know the score. Look at how Ron Paul has grown exponentially. And again, as he's pointed out, as he said last night, he said, we're getting liberty out to people. This is about an idea that is transcendent. He understands that. It's a huge victory. Ron Paul's success so far is like a Trenton victory. I mean, it is off the charts. Stuart Rhodes, oathkeepers.org. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is teleprompter free. And, we do a 35, 40-minute interview with him and one with Bill Bean earlier, the news. I mean, wild horses can't drag me away. Even my dear little children who are at home begging for me to come home and watercolor with them. I mean, I love them more than life itself. And I'm here because they don't have a future if I'm not here. And you don't have a future if we don't stand for this. It is all happening now. I mean, every time Stuart's on, I get tears in my eyes, and it's not that I'm even sad or freaked out. It's more of an involuntary realizing the point of history we're in. It is so big. I cannot get that across to people. And the responsibility I've got, Stuart's got, Ron Paul, and so many others. This is big. And all of you out there are so important. I cannot tell you how important you are. You're the eyes and ears of liberty in your town, your city, your state, or in other countries. This idea of freedom is transcendent. 1776 worldwide. The Ron Paul liberty movement is spreading worldwide. People are imitating that worldwide. People are seeing the good side of America, not the bad side as well. They're hearing us speak out and say, we don't represent these banks that have hijacked us. We represent freedom. It's that challenge that points out the evil. And it's here. So I cannot tell you enough how important you are out there watching and listening. Be a leader. Reach out to others. You are so important. Resistance is victory. And it's a cheesy line from a movie, but quite frankly, I later learned the people that wrote it are actually listeners of mine, so it's one of my lines that's in the movie, Terminator, Resurrection, or whatever it's called. That if you're listening to my voice, you are the resistance. That's an Infowars quote. If you're hearing my voice right now, you are the resistance. When I went and saw that movie when it came out, I'd heard there were listeners and all this stuff, and I was watching. I'm like, what? Those are my quotes. People are like, well, you're getting a Terminator quote. No, that's an Alex Jones quote, folks. The answer in 1984 is 1776. That's an Alex Jones quote. But again, that's just an average person stating common sense. If you're listening to my voice, you are the resistance. And resistance is victory. Lord willing, because it's all up to God, we'll be back tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Central, for as long as we have this free internet to reach you. Please get the Stuart Rhodes interview out to everybody you know. I mean, I put a little silly video out and it gets 2 million views, and have people like Stuart on with just incredible historical information. It gets 100,000. It needs to get 5 million. Get this video out to everybody. All right, that's it for Infowars Nightly News. God bless you all.